In 1918 Texas, amidst the Spanish flu pandemic and the turmoil of World War I, Pearl finds solace in dancing alone in her room. However, her respite is interrupted by her abusive mother, Ruth, who demands Pearl to abandon her reverie and attend to her chores. Complicating matters, Pearl also shoulders the responsibility of caring for her paraplegic father. Reluctantly, Pearl heads to the barn to tend to the livestock, only to encounter an unexpected visitor, a wandering goose. In a moment fraught with emotion, she impales the intruding goose with a pitchfork, perhaps revealing a hidden turmoil within her. Seeking a different outlet, Pearl ventures to the lake, where she encounters Theta, an alligator. Without hesitation, she offers the unfortunate goose as a snack to Theta, perhaps finding a form of release or connection in this act. Pearl, with a fervent desire to leave behind the confines of farm life, nurtures ambitious dreams of achieving stardom. Her marriage ties her to Howard, currently deployed in the throes of war. Yet, despite her fervor and Howard's absence, Ruth actively dissuades her from pursuing these aspirations, advocating for her to remain entrenched in the farm's familiarity. On her bike ride into town, Pearl makes a stop at the movie theater, indulging in the cinematic escape it offers. There, she encounters a charming and dashing projectionist, sharing a snippet of her life with him. Pearl receives a fragment of the film reel as a keepsake, assured by the projectionist that he can mend it together. Captivated by the man's charm, Pearl pedals her way back home, only to have the film snippet slip from her pocket, disappearing into the expanse of a nearby cornfield. Frantic and determined, she searches fervently, but her quest leads her to stumble upon a scarecrow. In a moment of emotional impulse, she ascends the structure, liberating it from its post, and in a surreal turn, she begins to kiss and embrace it, almost pretending it to be the projectionist. In a swift turn of emotion, she abruptly retracts, admonishing the scarecrow, asserting her marital commitment aloud. Then continue to straddle it until she finishes. At the farm, Pearl's affluent sister-in-law, Mitzi, accompanied by her mother, arrives with a gesture of goodwill, a suckling pig for Ruth. However, Ruth's pride rejects the offering, callously leaving it outdoors as she resents any form of charity. Amidst this, Mitzi shares news of church auditions for a traveling troupe, which Pearl views it as a potential escape from the farm's confines. During dinner with her parents, Pearl faces a relentless barrage of admonishments from Ruth, who continuously undermines her daughter's dreams, painting her as ungrateful. Amidst this suffocating atmosphere, Pearl finds herself contemplating a drastic measure, considering ending her father's life as a means to alleviate the burden weighing down upon them all. Returning to the theater, Pearl reunites with the projectionist, who unveils an unreleased film titled A Free Ride, a groundbreaking yet controversial piece considered among the world's first forays into adult films. Intrigued by its novelty, the projectionist passionately advocates for the transformative potential of such films within the industry. In their conversation, Pearl candidly shares her dreams and aspirations, unveiling the stifling grip her parents exert on her ambitions. In a moment of raw vulnerability, she inadvertently expresses a fleeting desire for her parents' absence, immediately retracting the statement. Witnessing Pearl's internal struggle, the projectionist becomes a supportive voice, urging her to pursue her aspirations despite the familial constraints holding her back. At dinner, Ruth discovers a pamphlet in Pearl's possession about auditioning for the troupe. Despite Pearl's aspirations, Ruth reiterates her disapproval, citing her own sacrifices in caring for her ailing husband. In a hurtful tirade, Ruth accuses Pearl of having disturbing inclinations, including harming animals, and predicts a lonely future for her. Tensions escalate into a heated argument, culminating in a physical altercation where both women lash out, exchanging slaps. In the heat of the moment, Pearl inadvertently shoves Ruth towards the fireplace, igniting a tragic, fiery outcome. Pearl reacts swiftly, dousing the flames by splashing Ruth with boiling water before urgently moving her to the basement where Ruth's barely hanging on life. Pearl rushes to the theater, seeking solace with the projectionist, finding comfort and perhaps a sense of normalcy in their presence, and eventually, exhaustion drives her to sleep. As Pearl prepares for her audition the next day, the projectionist drives her home, discovering the chaos in the kitchen and encountering Pearl's isolated father. Curiosity piqued, he hears a peculiar thumping noise from the basement, which Pearl dismisses as her dog. Pearl leads him to the barn. In a moment of inadvertent truth, Pearl slips up, revealing she doesn't actually own a dog. This revelation unsettles the projectionist, making him increasingly uneasy. Politely, he tries to excuse himself, but Pearl's emotions spiral. Fearing rejection and desperately longing to leave the farm, Pearl misinterprets his attempts to leave as abandonment, stoking her anger and desperation. As the projectionist attempts to depart, Pearl seizes a pitchfork and thrusts it into him, and allowing his car to plunge into the lake, where Theta indulges in a feast. Pearl proceeds to push Ruth down the stairs of the basement. Holding a pillowcase, she confronts her father. Although she cares for him, her frustrations prevailed. Pearl, clad in a vibrant red dress, joins Mitzi at the audition. Among the contestants, they witness a girl in tears after being rejected. When Pearl takes the stage before Mitzi, she showcases her own dance routine, envisioning her performance within a wartime setting, a reflection of her envisioned stage production. Despite her passionate display, the judges dismiss her. In her mind, she sees the judges as her parents, the projectionist, and Howard. Desperate for another chance, she pleads her case, insisting she has the necessary talent. However, one judge bluntly states they're seeking someone younger, blonde, and with that elusive X factor. Overwhelmed, Pearl breaks down in hysterical wails and tears outside the audition room, where Mitzi rushes to console her. Mitzi guided Pearl home, where the sight of a decaying pig, swarmed by maggots, greeted them. Seated in the kitchen, Mitzi endeavored to calm Pearl's turmoil by prompting her to release her emotions as if conversing with Howard. Pearl unleashed a torrent of resentment toward Howard for departing to war, leaving her stranded on the farm. She harbored hopes that Howard, hailing from a distant place, might rescue her from her confined life. Amidst her emotional outpouring, Pearl admitted her affair with the projectionist and confessed to the deaths of her parents and the projectionist, expressing remorse particularly for her father's demise. As Pearl's revelations drew to a close, Mitzi began to depart, but Pearl, in a confused state, attempted to congratulate her on securing a role. Mitzi initially refuted the claim, only for Pearl to insist otherwise, leading Mitzi to fabricate that she got the role so she can escape. In her bid to leave, Mitzi's fabrication inadvertently prompted Pearl to seize an axe. Panic ensued as Mitzi fled, attempting to call for help, but Pearl, consumed by frenzy, relentlessly pursued and ultimately ended Mitzi's life with the axe. Pearl dismembers Mitzi and feeds her remains to her pet, Theta. She then goes to the basement, where Ruth had attempted to crawl up the stairs before dying. Pearl envisions Ruth looking well, and telling her that she loves her, which is all she wanted from her. Pearl then sits her parents' lifeless body in the dining room, along with the pig given by Mitzi's mother few days ago, and pretends to have dinner with them. Howard, returning from the war, steps into the house, only to be met with a chilling and gruesome scene. Pearl emerges, expressing happiness at Howard's return. Despite her words, she wears a forced, strained smile that persists until the credits roll, all the while tears cascade down her face, revealing a profound internal turmoil. And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.